What are those implications for instruction? So students need to work with these fractions and ratios in a variety of contexts. They should be comfortable using pictures and diagrams to help them reason about the relationships being expressed. Now, importantly, this is not the same as drawing a beautifully rendered artistic representation of gourmet Godiva chocolates with swirls on the top. This is about how do you configure these numbers in relationship to each other. So there's a difference between an artistic representation and a mathematical representation. And so I think that these implications for instruction will often give you a chance to say, all right, well, what is this about? What's this terrain? How can I get kids to be successful in this task? Then lastly, there's these ideas about how can you apply this task for your own action research. So if you're going to say, I'm going to take this group of student work samples, and I want to ask my own questions about this. Maybe you are involved in a scholarship of teaching and learning project at your campus, or you are sharing teacher inquiry in some format at your school, at your district, online, in a professional learning community, any of these numbers of things. Even if you're voicing the questions that you have to your Facebook teacher colleagues, saying, these kids, they don't seem to get it. I'm trying really hard, and their proportions and ratios understanding is just breaking down somehow. These action research questions can help you get to a more interesting and perhaps thorough way of phrasing that dilemma so that you can investigate it. So you could consider, for example, what are the strengths, if any, that this student has? What are the concepts that students understand about the situation? How might those strengths be used to help build their understanding of the whole situation? How did they use those representations? And so on. So often throughout all of these MARS materials, these mathematics tasks materials, there's going to be these guides that will help you take these questions beyond the task. Then again, and I won't click on this one because this will take a long time to download, you can always download this entire Candies Toolkit packet, which is all of these above, to be able to share with your colleagues. And then in these cases where there are classroom video visits, you can link between the task and the video visit. So again, you can jump to Hillary in her classroom with her 5th grade students and be able to watch the entire lesson. I will take you more in depth into these classroom video visits in the next segment. So I'll just go back here lastly to these tools for educators. I want to tell you again that you can go through and visit and view these tools by subject as well. So if I am dealing with fractions and representations, if I click on number operations or number properties, I'm going to be able to see what's the developmental continuum of these over kids' ages. So if you're not going to have kindergarten teachers who are doing necessarily mathematical proof. But if you have older students, you can say, what are they doing in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade? That's going to allow them to do this in a stronger manner in the older grades. So you don't have to just say, I'm a 5th grade math teacher, I'm just going to go view these resources by 5th grade math. But I can go in by content area as well. Secondly, there are these problems of the month where you can say, these are designed for school-wide mathematical investigations. So you can see some guidelines for doing a problem of the month, scoring them, and what are these mathematical concepts addressed by each problem of the month. This is a gold mine for people who want to get mathematics teaching and learning going at the school-wide level. So if I look, for example, on these problems by content focus, you could pick any one of these and have them be something that a whole school is going to be investigating over the course of a month. And it's going to look really different for little kids and big kids. So in this case, this is with the younger children. This starts with the shape of things, all right? Level A, examine the scene of the playground above. There are a lot of different shapes that make up the toys and play equipment. Name, draw, and describe clearly all the shapes you can see in the playground picture. But then as we go through, level B, Laura and Jacob are drawing pictures to give to friends. Laura made a drawing using some shapes and a line of symmetry. She used the folded edge as the line of symmetry. Draw a picture of what the paper will look like when it is unfolded. And so you can see that these shapes are getting, the investigation of shapes are getting more sophisticated through these levels. Level C, you work for a company in its marketing department. It's your job to create a new company logo. You have heard that having a logo with rotational symmetry is attractive and useful for potential customers. You look through a page of company logos. Which of the logos below have rotational symmetry? And then as you go through level D, Jake and Mark are making a kite. They have 2 sticks. We need to cut the sticks and lash them together, Mark said. But what shape will the kite be, says Jake. It depends on these sticks, Mark replied. What does Mark mean? Explore the kinds of kites you can make using 2 sticks. What are the different types of kites you can make? Explain using geometry how the sticks affect the shapes of the kites. Now that actually is the task that Kathy Humphrey's video visit addresses. And those kids are 9th and 10th grade age, and they are doing that over 2 entire blocks of instructional time. So that's 4 hours of small group work around mathematical proof. These are really deceptively simple tasks. They are, in fact, much more thorough than they seem. And so you could do these with a school over the span of, say, a month, and then have the students share them in some kind of mathematics celebration and so on. And then in each of these, there are all the materials that you might need for using these. So then, again, there are these problems of the month. You can view those by their content focus. You can see some of these tools for coaches, which will help link directly to these coaching conversations, as well as, for example, professional development calendar, improving our craft as coaches, all of these kinds of materials that are going to link to your practice as a coach. Again, for tools for principals and administrators, you're going to see what are these helpful materials, theory of action, what are some of these pathways of influence in a school system, how do they influence learning from teachers and students, how can a math department really enact its role in getting math reform going. So as you look through all of these resources, again, you can start to get a sense that this is an incredibly rich curriculum for individual student learning, individual teacher learning, groups of teachers, perhaps working with a math coach, in a school setting, in a district setting, maybe even among school districts. The new kinds of conversations that can get going as a result of these materials are, I think, very exciting. So I really encourage you to take a look at all of these resources and tools for educators so that you can get a sense of how it applies to your work, either by your grade level or by your subject area or by your role. In the next section, I'll take you at a deeper level into the classroom video visits so you can get a sense of what these look like in practice.